So what startup do you manage?
Well, I come from technology, so, I have a very warm side for technology companies and startups as well. But I'm here, so my name is Kllier. I'm the head of group strategy at Bank Leumi. And I'm here representing the banking side of the FinTech story. Leumi, I won't describe Leumi in a minute, but what I would say is that Leumi actually put digital in the front of its strategy for a while now. It's not a new thing for us. That said, due to everything that Chaim has mentioned at the beginning, we do see quite a shift in the FinTech environment. We see smaller and smaller companies that are aiming to develop and identify disruptive solutions to areas of our business coming up. And as part of our strategy, and I think that this is why it is also managed within my team, we've decided that we would like to help the FinTech community and help startups develop and bring solutions that will improve eventually the customer experience of our customers. Parts of it is, I can see 3 companies out of the 5 that, either are now doing a pilot at Leumi or already, are implemented in Leumi, which is pt.2 and Kllier site. We've established a program with the elevator that pt was part of it to help FinTech companies grow and get into the bank and develop their programs quickly and probably better. We are doing everything we can in order to adjust to the new changes in the banking environment.
So let's talk about it. We'll start with you on these changes. We have 2 Yoavs here, but one of them is actually a potential threat. 600 billion. He wants to eat part of the 600 billion in the US. Whatever the number is in Israel is 10 billion. So what do you think about Yoav?
I think that at the end of the day, technology will bring changes that will make things better for the consumer and the customer. I think that our strategy and our point of view is not to try to fight or to avoid or ignore companies such as Yoav's that are coming up. The idea is to try to see how we can actually leverage solutions like Yoav's and others to improve the customer experience and to make the financial industry better. This is why, Yoav is one example, but I can give others, such as peer-to-peer lending and other areas that, are direct competition, potential competition to banks. And one of a peer-to-peer lending solution was part of our accelerating program, and we actually helped them to develop their product, whether we could leverage it or whether we couldn't. The thing is that, these solutions will come, whether we, do something against it or not, and the idea is to actually work together to create a better financial environment for our customers.
So we have seen recently the announcement of Apple coupled with its agreement with the credit card companies. Any thought from the panel? We'll ask you later on. Any thought for the panel on the importance, the impact, what will it do to the industry, and what will it do to your specific startups? Anyone want to start? Go ahead, Yoav.
Again, I'm Yoav. I can start with a personal story. One time I left home and arrived to work, and I realized that my wallet is not with me. And my car didn't run out of fuel, and I needed a way to get back to home. So the only device or the only object that I have always with me is my mobile. So I tried to find a solution. Luckily, I'm a customer also of Leumi Bank. I generated a code, a one-time code that got it from the bank to my mobile, and I could use it in order to withdraw cash from the ATM. So this is a story, but the only, I believe that it's quite common, that the only object, only device that always with us is the mobile. From that period, I started to use an old-fashioned solution of having my credit card under the cover of my mobile phone, but absolutely much better and safer solution is use it in the phone.
Anyone else has initial thoughts on the...
I want to say that it's very interesting, this issue with the credit card, but I think that the banks and the credit card company are talking about it already a long time, and I guess eventually this will be the trend. I believe it's not something of FinTech, but I believe that what was more important in Apple announcement was the wearable device, which I think that this is the next revolution. And if you speak about the wearable device, I think that the next revolution will be in the capability to communicate between the wearable device and your feelings. It means that the wearable device will be able to identify if you love someone, if you're getting excited, if you're getting angry, funny or whatever. And I think this is, the next revolution on wearable devices.
Okay, please.
Well, actually, I think the Apple payment solution is just an incremental solution in a closed ecosystem that will appeal to a bunch of Apple users, but it doesn't really add that much functionality to the mobile device. We've already seen the mobile do a lot of things over the past decade. This is just yet another feature on the mobile device. What I'm interested in is something that fundamentally disrupts the nature of how we transact. And like my colleague here in the middle, who is trying to disrupt a $600 billion payments market in the United States, right? So that's why I'm interested in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin disrupts the worldwide payments market, which, if I just by rule of thumb, I multiply by a factor of 5, because the US is about 20% of the GDP of the world, that would be 5 times 6. That would be how much in terms of market cap or addressable market that we're disrupting with this new technology. So I'm very bearish on Apple as a platform. I think it has peaked, and I think they're just adding yet another feature to their feature set on the mobile. But I'm very bullish on something that fundamentally attacks the nature of financial transactions, like crowdfunding, or like Bitcoin, which is both a payment technology and a new asset class. So that's my take on the Apple payment feature.
Okay, so you're not very bullish on this, specifically with respect to Apple, so we will see the analysts that are ranking now Apple, we will see how they will be measured in a few months or whatever time. Okay. Yes.
So I think it's pretty early to say how the Apple payment will develop. But what I can say from my experience is that Apple are usually very aggressive with things that they launch. And a personal story: about a week before, on early September, before Apple announced the new payment app, we worked with two payment companies, and they both emailed us that they stopped working with PayPal. So I can only assume that it's somehow related.
Okay. So what does the bank think of the new Apple announcement?
I think at the end, I think that Apple, the key question here is where they are planning on actually taking it. Because currently what they are doing is actually, it seems like a competition mostly to PayPal and to the endpoint usage of the payments. That said, they are still collaborating with banks, with credit card companies, working together and just changing the customer experience at the point of transaction. Apple has the potential later on to actually establish their own infrastructure, to do the clearing on their own, to actually allow you to hold money within a so-called bank. But currently, I think that they will change the way we use cards. They have the power to change the usage and to potentially actually get the mobile device or the wearable device to replace the cards. But in terms of replacing I think they chose to work with the financial services and the financial community, whether it's credit card companies or banks, and not to actually compete with them.
I have a question. Okay. 1 minute about Apple, and then a question to you, a follow-up question to you on your business. So.
All right, cool. I just take the extreme approach here when I say that I think that, yes, mobile wallet is important, but that's not the big problem that consumers are suffering from.
It's the commission.
You know what? Take a look at credit cards, for example. An average American holds 7 credit cards in his wallet,
okay,
and he's paying 12.7% on average on interest. Now think about that you go to Macy's, and for 20% discount, you acquire a new credit card of 20% interest. So I think that this is the main issues that we should address.
Okay, so 10 years ago, 15 years ago, a new industry developed of GPS systems, navigation system that you could buy. You put them in your car, and then came some companies like Waze. I think we have some related people here in the audience, right? Where is he?
Over there.
Over there. And I don't think anyone is buying now, a navigation system to his car, and this industry has gone away, more or less. Now you have a bigger challenge. $600 billion is a lot of money. What's the business plan? How are you going to disrupt the industry? What are the plans?
Well, again, it's very simple. These 600 billion have been inflating due to 2 factors, essentially. One would be ignorance, and the other would be fear.
Okay.
You can call it fignorance. So let's deal with them one by one. First of all, let's deal with the ignorance. Let's show you in dollars amount, not percentages, not yearly percentages, compounding dollar amounts, how much are you going to pay for your retirement plan. And we'll show you that you're going to pay $100,000, which will be 1/3 of your retirement savings in fees. And after that, we'll allow you to take action. You can reduce these prices, and this isn't only a US story. It's an Israeli story, it's a UK story, it's an Australian story, it's an Asian story. The market is full with products, but we need to humanize these products to something simple that people can understand. When you buy a TV, you pay with cash. You don't pay with 1% per year. For 30 years, it's going to be 30%. This isn't how we understand prices as consumers. So that's point one. And the point two of the fear, unfortunately, when you meet with your banker or with your agent, he comes with a suit and tie, and that's part of the reason why I'm dressed like this in the FinTech industry. And then he sells you fears. What will happen if you die? What will happen to your money? What will happen with your kids? What will happen with your wife? And then, you pay as a factor of how much you're afraid. So we need to deal with that. We need to show you that there are alternatives, that don't be afraid, and you can actually understand this material. This is not rocket science, and I think this is the main challenge for us. Increase transparency and deal with the fear and ignorance of the users.
Mm-hmm. So a question to Or, and then we'll go through the panelists again. Priorities. There are many aspects in the FinTech business, many new technologies and so on. What are the kind of 3 or 4 top priority that you see as one of the 2 major banks in this country? What are the top priorities from your perspective in the context of financial technology?
So I think that, if I look from the bank's perspective, I think that, and again, I'm now trying, I can separate it to 2. I can separate it to more of the infrastructure, the cyber, the security sides of the business, that those are always and historically were priorities of banks and were important parts of it. But I think that the other side of it, which is more of the customer experience side, things that can actually improve the way we do business with our customers, whether improve efficiency or improve the actual experience of the customer, these are key priorities for us. And if we look at areas such as, the mobile is a general area, but wearable technologies, I think it's something that, for banks, this is something that they will have to look into it. Financial planning, for instance, and improving the way we interact with our customers around financial planning. These are the key areas where we look at different solutions. What I do see, and again, what I see from the other side, from the FinTech side, so I see a lot of, solutions that are looking into around the personal financial management, around, again, creating solutions and front-end solutions for customers that are more advanced technology. We see the usage of social, for instance, and that's also of interest for us. Social trading, social investments, different areas that leverage the social. And we see other disruptive models, such as the lending side, the crowdfunding that we see companies growing up quickly abroad and building up here in Israel. And the payments world, which is also developing payment and trade.